Negative 5.7%. What does that mean? Well, we're going to get into it right now, talking about the New Jersey real estate market in 2024. We're going to be looking specifically at February 2024 and looking at what the data is telling us from the past 30 days. It is March now, but it's giving us a little bit of an insight as to what's happening. Let's get into it right now. Hey, if this is your first visit to the channel and you're looking to learn all about buying and selling real estate in the New Jersey suburbs of New York City, then please consider joining our Subs of NYC community. We'd love to have you. Hey, I'm Jeff Massey, your local North Jersey realtor and also a New York City real estate broker. But today we're going to be talking about New Jersey, of course. And if you're looking to move in the next 7 days or 7 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so we can help you make an easy, stress-free purchase in the North Jersey area. All right, so let's get into the data. I've got the GSMLS February 2024 real estate market report, New Jersey real estate market report. We're going to get into the details and look at some of the trends that happened over the past 30 days. All right, let's jump in. So first off, let's look at new listing. I've got the report right here for February 2024. This is the New Jersey real estate market report. And specifically, this is pulling data from the Garden State MLS, or the GSMLS, I like to shorten it to. So interesting positive signs here on new listings. We're seeing a 12% jump if we look at single family homes right here. And this is comparing last February to this February. So 12% jump. And that's with single family homes, 4% for townhouses, 3% for adult communities overall. So that's good. We're seeing more inventory. And you can see that little jump here being this part. And I wonder if I can zoom in on this. Right, so you can see this is February of last year and this is February of this year. So we're seeing a good increase with that 12% bump, particularly in single family homes. So that gives you a sense of what's happening with new inventory coming on the market, which is really helpful. So now let's look at pending sales. And pending sales is interesting because we're actually seeing a downtick. So this is something that is making me wonder, is the market slowing down a little bit? And again, this is overall GSMLS. It's not looking at specific towns, which I think there's probably reason to believe that specific towns could be just as fast. It's just that overall, when you look at more towns and more counties in particular, there was a slight slowdown in pending sales. And what I mean by that is, if you look at single family, we have a 3.6% reduction. Actually, condos went up a little bit in terms of pending sales, but big turnaround. I mean, adult communities are such a small amount of the population of the data. We saw a negative 17, but that's really specific to adult communities. But let's look at that 3.6% negative downturn on pending sales. I think that's kind of trending a little bit of a lagging indicator from the previous slower months of sales coming out of the winter, and how those particular months were just really slow in terms of inventory, even from the previous year. So we're seeing that again. And if we fast forward to the next page, look at closed sales, we're seeing again a similar lagging indicator with those particular sales. We're seeing in terms of single family negative 2%, condo almost negative 10%, and adult community negative 40%. Again, that's a very exaggerated number because there's such a small population. So not to dwell on that, but so we're seeing this sort of lagging indicator, and I believe that's because of the past couple of months comparing back to 2023 and then these particular months in 2024, we're seeing a slowdown of closed sales because inventory was so low in the past couple of months. So I think that's really a lagging indicator. I'm not sure if that's going to keep going. And of course, I'm not a mind reader or can't see the future. This is basically, I think we're going to look at in the next couple of months, those things are kind of level back out once we see the inventory, as we saw on the first slide, the new listings popping. I think that's going to give us a really good sense of what's happening. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one for now. But I think it's more of a lagging indicator, not necessarily a trend. So let's go to the next slide. And median sales price. This is what we keep seeing the consistency on. And I keep talking about in every single video of mine. Doesn't matter if it's a market update or just me talking to the camera and talking to you guys. Everything is pointing towards this upward trajectory here on this continued appreciation of value. Again, looking at closed deals versus overall value is very different because we're seeing just a small sample size when we look at particular closed sales. But you can see here 14, almost 15% above the previous year, February to February. And if we look at year to date, still 13% year to date. This is for single family. And across the board, we look at condos and townhouses, 18%, adult community 9.5%. And again, that's the same on even the year to date. So we're seeing those continued big appreciation in numbers. Now let's go and clear this out. Let's go to the closed sales because it's going to be a similar situation there. We're looking at 12%, again, 12.6% and 6%. And then year to date, very similar numbers, 12.5%, 16.3%, and 6.2%. And again, look at that vertical. So as I've been saying, if you haven't spoken with us yet, get in touch with us now. I think it's better to start strategizing with the potential of getting into the market now. Buy what you can afford. It's what I keep saying. Buy what you can afford based on your monthly budget. If in the future rates come down, big if, because right now we're seeing the Fed, again, holding rates back, keeping them where they are based on the current data. But in the future, if that's 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, if rates do come down, these trends to me are indicating that you're going to see an incredible surge of demand and still low inventory, which is going to lead to even more bidding wars. And I can't say this enough. What I want people to understand is there's still bidding wars going on right now. It's not a buyer's market by any means. And you'll see later when we get into the months of supply, it's still a seller's market. But what I'm encouraging you to do is take advantage of the seller's market as is versus in the future, if rates come down and there's still not a ton of inventory popping up. In the future, as I keep trying to insinuate, it's going to get even worse. So I'd rather have you have the headache today and have a worry-free future, knowing that you've already purchased your home. So get in touch with us. Our info is down in the description. I'm sorry to hit you over the head with such a sponsorship. This video is sponsored by Suburbs of New York City. Please get in touch with us. We'd love to help you. And again, sorry to hit you over the head with that, but I think it's important for us to have that buyer consultation or seller consultation and really start to strategize about what's going to do for you in the next, in the future for your particular goals. All right, so let's look at the next one. Let's clear this out. Look at the next size, percent of list received. And again, this is where I keep saying you have to be competitive. And it's basically, like I said, even though it's a little bit quieter now, it's still busy and there's still bidding wars out there. We're seeing that here, 3% over asking on average. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Take that back. That's 3% from last February comparing. And again, 2% more from last February in condos. Same year to date, you're seeing that 2%. But when we look at specifics, it's 103.2% over asking. So again, this isn't a buyer's market. We're expecting bids to be over asking. I know that's hard to say, but the reality is if you want to be competitive, you need to really be sharp on your numbers. Offer as much as you can. Because remember what I was talking about in the last video, the budget really isn't necessarily the purchase price. It's what you can afford on a monthly level. So max out that monthly within what you feel comfortable with. And then that's going to give you your best foot in the door to try and win these bids. Okay, so let's clear that out. I hope that makes sense. Let's jump on to the next one, days on market. And again, this continues to show the trend. Look at this downward spike. And again, I know I've talked about this before. Strategic pricing does have an effect on this because the lower the price, the higher the bids, the quicker it's going to go. But look at this, negative 17% from February 2023 to February 2024. And you can see it here, 43 versus, oh, it doesn't go back that far, but as you can see, it's negative 17. So really, really fast. 43 days on market. Keep in mind, that's taking into account all of the homes in general. And I think what I like to stress is that not every home is for everyone. So even though there's low inventory, there's even fewer what I like to call quintessential homes or ideal homes. And those are the ones people are really competing for. So those homes can go as far as quick as 7 days, And then this 43 is the average. So let's call them less desirable homes. Those are lasting 60, 70 days. So the average is coming out to like the 43. But I think for most people, what they're looking for and what they're really excited about, those homes are going in like 7 days. So keep that in mind. Same when we look at condos, negative 12%. Actually increase in days on market on adult communities. So that's interesting. That's a very interesting statistic. I wonder if that's because maybe more of the older people are maybe trying to go south or something. So those homes are lagging on the market a little bit. That's just a guess. I have no idea. I'm not really focused on the adult communities, as you know. But when we look at year to date, just in terms of the beginning of the year to now, negative 16% and negative 17% for condos. Housing affordability, I've talked about this before. You can pause it and take a look at the graph if you'd like, but I think this one's sort of self-explanatory. I've talked about it before. Inventory of homes for sale, you can see overall volume, we're way down still. This is like, if you can see across, I mean, we haven't been this low, and it's not even on this chart. It's off the charts, as they say. So if we look at this downslide here, I mean, even if we go back to the worst months before the pandemic, 2014 and 2018, we had these lows. We're well below there. And think about how much population growth has happened in those years. And as I said before in the last video, how many more people are entering the market, being the widest band of buyers being millennials right now. They're coming into peak home buying age, being about 35 years old. And now you've got all those people coming in. This is where we talk about population growth. It's really on a generational level. Those people are now moving in. It's not that more babies were born in 2023 or something. I'm talking about who's moving into the current area of home buying needs. And that's the millennials aged about 35 or so. They're the widest piece of the pie, so to speak. And they're seeing the lowest amount of inventory, keep in mind. So that's why when we look at that correlation between appreciation of price over asking bids, this kind of thing, low inventory, can't say it enough. This is really because of the systemic lack of inventory. I know mortgage rates are keeping people off the market, but it is also to do with that systemic lack of inventory. So months of supply, we are seeing a sort of a leveling out compared to 2024. And in the case of condos, you can see here it actually went up a little bit. Like I said, single family leveled out, adult community also leveled out. But again, look at this months of supply. It's really not good in today's current environment, given how much demand there is. Even at these interest rate levels, we're going to see it keep going. So I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but that's kind of where we are. Okay, so now we'll get this total market overview, summarizing what we just spoke about. And again, I think what I spoke with at the beginning of the episode, negative 5.7 and closed sales overall, that's I believe is sort of a lagging indicator based on how much low inventory we had in the last couple of months. I think we should keep an eye on that, but I think going into the next couple months, March, April, and May, I think we're going to see those numbers kind of turn around a little bit, or at least level off flat. That's just a guess. So let's go one by one. These two are really the same. That's why I bundled them. But sales, median average, and average sales price going up. Again, no inventory, plenty of demand. This is what happens. It's probably going to continue. If we go into list price to asking price, or I should say sell price to list price ratio, it's up 2.8%. And again, you've got to be at least, and this is on the average, this is everywhere, not just a particular town. So we know some towns, if you haven't seen the video on the specific towns that are very expensive, you can see some of those towns are going 20%, 5%, 10% over asking on average. That's not anecdotal, that's average. So keep that in mind when we're making those bids. Get in touch with me so I can properly strategize with you where we should be looking. And then when we do see things, checking how good the comps are and if it stacks up, where we need to make the offers, because we're seeing homes dramatically underpriced intentionally. Call that strategic pricing, so that you'll get over asking offers very quickly all at once and intimidate the buyers. But really we want to just rely on data and then play again with that maximum budget to see what we can afford. So if we go on to days on market, again, that's the same situation here. They're just trying to drive it on really quickly. And I say also to the benefit of the sellers. I think all of this benefits the sellers. So if you're thinking about selling, this really is the best strategy for you. And a lot of people, if they're sellers, are thinking, well, I want to get the most money. I want to price it where I want it. Realistically, pricing it higher or, and then negotiating down is not the best strategy. Honestly, it kind of benefits the agents more because they can sit there and hold more open houses, collect more buyer names that aren't going to actually bid on your home. They're going to take them to other properties. So you really want to trust your agent. Get in touch with me. I'd love to do a seller consultation, listing presentation with you and talk about that and really understand that pricing it a little bit below where you're looking is going to actually drive more eyeballs onto the property, get more interest, and you're going to see a little bit more competition and drive those numbers for you. And it's going to be on the market for less time, which means less hassle for you, letting people into your homes and that kind of thing. So think about that. I think that trend is annoying for buyers, but really very beneficial for sellers. And lastly, the affordability index, negative 70%, almost 16.5%. Very frustrating for most people, especially if you're in that millennial band that's just trying to buy their first home. Again, we need to strategize with you to see how we can efficiently find a property that fits your budget. You don't want to be looking at things purely on the list price, not knowing that they're going to go higher. You need to be looking a little bit below list price and factoring that into the equation. So I hope that helps you summarize the current real estate market here in New Jersey for February 2024 New Jersey Real Estate Report. And the market report, I think, here shows like that little tip in closed sales and pending sales. Again, I think that's a lagging indicator. So let's keep our eye on it and see what happens in March and April. That is the next month. And we'll take a look and see if that trend continues. But as you know, the trend line for appreciation or, the faster paced deals is definitely still here. And I can't stress this enough. We are in a slower market in terms of buyer demand, but there's such low inventory that smaller buyer demand really is amplified into a larger buyer demand. And it's just that kind of ratio comparison of availability of homes to how many people are looking. So let's say in a normal market, we have 100 people looking. Let's say today we have 50 people looking, but really the only amount of homes available for those 50 people are actually like 20 homes. So you can see that gradation. Now in the future, what I'm suggesting is if rates do come down, that 100 average is going to come back up. So there'll be probably like closer to 100 people looking. Maybe there'll be like 30 or 40 homes available. So that spread, that minus 60 that we're missing is what's creating that crazy bidding war. And so keep that in mind. I think it's better for you to be looking now. Can't stress that enough. Or we could miss the boat because in the future, things are just going to keep getting more expensive. So think about that now. You can always refinance. I hope that's helpful. I hope I don't sound like too much of a broken record. I apologize. Just trying to get my point across there. So that's been the New Jersey Market Report for 2024, February. Keep in touch with us and stay tuned for more. We're going to have March coming up in a few more weeks, obviously. And hopefully we'll be doing some new content, adding a couple new towns in the coming days. Thanks for letting me into your home today. I'm Jeff Massey. I really appreciate it. And I hope that together we can help find your next one. In the meantime, we'll see you in the next video.